So today I'm going to be telling you something that's a surprise to no one, I'm sure, that Stranger Things Season 4 Part 2 was absolutely awesome. Finished everything off with a, as generic as it sounds, epic conclusion. We got some, I would call Avengers Infinity War type stakes in here with how, of course, Infinity War is the movie before the last conclusion, Endgame. And then, so we got Season 4 is the season before the final conclusion, Season 5, as well as the stakes are so huge where the heroes could lose, and they do, and I really appreciate them having the balls or ambition to kind of follow through with that and have our heroes fumble here at the end or just not have a happy ending. I'm kind of I don't know, more inclined to like morbid type endings like that. So I got a lot of appreciation with the way it's not something that happens very often in TV and movies where they end with the heroes losing, and they essentially did. Again, maybe not on quite the biggest scale that I was expecting them to, because you had a lot of rumors going around about characters were going to die this season, and we did just get the one death, and it wasn't like a main character, somebody super impactful. We'll get into that later. But at the same time, they still had so much emotion and interactions between each of the characters, like where you were thinking, like, okay, you could die. Literally, almost every single character, you were probably thinking, like, okay, you're definitely going to die here or there, or all of you could even go at this point. It seems, and it felt like, and that's really a big achievement to make you feel that and think that. So and they paid off on it to a certain smaller degree, but it was still great. So, and I love that. So I'm going to read off some of my notes here, get into some more specifics. The effects, of course, just like in part one, were great. All of Stranger Things effects are pretty good, but this season really shined with some of the practical stuff, and then the CGI too, like just Vecna, for example, being half practical effects, but then CGI, it really makes a difference, some of the stuff that's moving, but it's great. Acting, of course, is good, except for maybe like Finn Wolfhard. I feel like he's kind of he's a little bit stiff, but still very good for the cast to be so young. Not like I could do any better, and some people are just kind of stiff like that, like how Finn Wolfhard is. So music plays a huge role, I think, in a lot of these scenes, giving them so much, power to them. I was getting so sick of the Kate Bush song, because you hear it all the time on TikTok now. Not even, it's not like, and I don't even watch TikTok that much. Maybe my girlfriend sends me something, or if my best friend, he'll send me something on occasion, But this was just from hearing it from people, from like Vanessa watching TikTok. I heard that song so much, I got so sick of it. But they play that a lot up in here, and they do like a different version of it, I think, that just makes it really impactful. And then we got what was it? A Metallica song played in here. Eddie played it. Not For Whom the Bell Tolls or Ride the Lightning, whatever. Those would have worked too. There's quite a few Metallica songs that could have worked in here, but Obey Your Master, that's what it was. Not just that though. There was lots of good tracks in here, right? That add so much power to the scenes. I'm trying to think. Just great emotional stuff. Like they played over the song with they played the song over the scene with Nancy with the shotgun at the end. Hopper going full like gladiator style on the Demogorgon. With Vecna burning, and all of that was awesome. And they do some other songs in some places and some of the shots, and it's just very epic. It just feels very epic. It's the best way I can put it. Lots of different horror movie references in here if you know where to catch them. I think they had some from It, with the balloons popping at the prom, or in Max's vision. So I got a few negatives on here, and this is very nitpicky. I acknowledge that, but I just feel like I have to mention it, just because it's just what it is, doing a review for it, right? So they have a scene where the Demogorgon is getting mowed down by the Russian soldiers. They're just unloading clips into it, and it makes you think, okay, I guess the Demogorgons are bulletproof or something. Maybe it's something I'm not remembering. You got to shoot them in a certain place, but they lit this Demogorgon up, hit him everywhere. And then Hopper goes into a room, and there's a Demogorgon tied to a table. Maybe it was because it was a baby or something. I don't know, but he just, boom, kills it in one shot. And it's just kind of one of those things, like, did they not think, like, they just showed this, and then that is going to be a little bit, like, but again, that's very, extremely nitpicky, I acknowledge that. And then there was another scene, scene that felt a little bit silly, where they're driving away from the Russian base, and Hopper is in the car in the back with Joyce, and the soldiers fill up the van with bullets, but none of the bullets hit any of the people in the car. They're just loading on the back of the van, and yeah, it would have been nice to have one of them get winged or something, not like die here, but just so it's not like, okay, what the, really. But that, again, just minor nitpicks I wrote whenever I was taking my notes. And again, I get the rest of the negatives out of the way. Some scenes did feel a bit overcrowded. Just because the story was already split, right, in part one, and in part two we split up the group even more. Within each group you get split up a little bit more, and it left for some of the scenes lingering on a little bit too long, or feeling poorly timed. Steve's getting strangled, right, and then like 10 minutes of scenes go by, 5 minutes of scenes, whatever, too long, where they're still getting strangled, and it's like, okay, well, you can't really go with getting strangled for like 5 minutes at a time. I get with TV and movies, you got to allow for a little bit of disbelief with stuff like that, with the cutting in between scenes and different things. But yeah, that was just one example of where it's like, okay, you've been dying or getting your ass beat for a long time now, but it's just because they had so much going on. And I would still have to give them credit for it didn't feel too terribly like overcrowded or anything. I was still investing. It wasn't like, okay, this is just bloated crap, But they were touching that line, where it was a little bit. So next season, I'm hoping that they'll have more of the characters interacting all together, and structure the story maybe that way, so it's not so. But still, like I said, they make it work. They have some scenes where the music's playing over it, and it's all blended together, and you get a little bit of chills or whatever. It does the job, right? So minor complaints. And some of it lost me a bit, maybe it'll get explained, but like Vecna's universe that he initially discovers, is that the Upside Down? And then as well, like Max and Eleven were in this like dream state universe fighting Vecna, and then there was the universe, or the real world, I guess, where the people were in, and then there was the Upside Down world. So you're cutting between like 3 different dimensions here. So yeah, it does lose you a little bit, but again, I think they did probably the best they could, or anybody could, with structuring this level of layers to a story, right? Okay, let's try to speed up. I got a good bit here. Yeah, I already said that. It felt like every character could have went at this point, the way each character is written with their dialogue. Yeah, it felt like I kept me guessing, like, okay, this main character could die right here, Some scenes, let's look at another kind of negative, but okay, bear with me. Some scenes that feel a little bit too long, a little bit too sappy, but I do, but it does separate them from other shows where they really are confident in the dialogue that they're delivering, and let the scenes play out. And maybe it is a little bit over sappy, but still, it's nothing like, oh god, I can't watch this anymore, turn this off. Mike and Eleven's whole bit with him like telling her how much he loves her and all this, and he's the heart of the group and all that bullshit, which I really don't think that he is. That's something, I guess I'm just not the biggest fan of Mike's character, but he's supposed to be like kind of the main character of the show. He's really not. He had probably the least to do this season, and maybe in earlier seasons he was like the leader, but yeah. He's just kind of faded to the back. It's one of those things where you tell me he's the main character and you tell me he's the heart of the show, whatever, but I don't really feel that personally. So that's just a little nitpick with Mike there, but yeah. Okay, so Max, this is one of the worst things that I've seen done to a character on TV. The only thing that comes to my head is nobody's probably seen this shit, but Chucky, the new Chucky TV series, there's a character who gets all of her limbs severed, and she's just a stump. But this is maybe even worse than that. So Max, again, they cut it off like halfway through her transformation, getting killed by Vecna. Of course, you know this. Her limbs broken, all four of them, blind, and is dying. That is so fucking dark, so fucking horrifying. On that note, it's funny. I was texting my mom. Started watching the show last night, and she's loved all the other seasons, and I'll tell you, that's how you know this season is darker, and hopefully they don't pull back on this in season 5, because some people are feeling like it's too dark. But I was asking her, how'd you like the new season, what are you thinking? She's turned off, like, she's like, too much violence, gore, whatever, dark scenes, and she's only on the first few episodes, right? So it just tells you, to me, in my opinion, that means that they were doing something right with this fucking season, for sure. So yeah, it's just horrible, flyingly dirty. I don't know what's happened with Max, how Eleven saved her, if she like telekinesis and kept her heart beating. I feel like there's more, a twist that we'll get in season 5 where there's definitely more to it. I don't think Max will be the same. I think, I'm thinking maybe she got powers or something. I don't know, honestly, like Eleven's powers somehow transferred to Max. I'm thinking it's going to be something big, I don't think she's going to be a blind fucking stump, or blind with all of her limbs broken for all of season 5, but so yeah, I didn't really want them to kill her off either, while I was saying, like, they built it up like all these characters are going to die, then only one does, and he wasn't even like a main one. At the same time, I didn't want Max to be the one to die, because in good shows and movies, you have characters that linger on from different points in the story, like, storylines, and she's kind of the last connection to, her brother. I can't think of his name, but yeah, she's kind of the last piece of story from that arc, so it's good to keep her around. But yeah, that's just so brutal what they did to her. Oh my fucking goodness. Vanessa was saying, like, all of her limbs are broke, she's blind. And I was like, no, they didn't do that, did she? And they show her, like, arm is all fucking oh my god, just horrible, horrifying. Okay, so another death, right? The other big shocker, Eddie dies. Me and Vanessa were talking about this. We both agree. I'm sure other people do. It was stupid the way he went out, kind of. I do get how it brings some heart to the story. The whole town hated him, and he died saving the town. And then, as well, it leaves probably for next season, for Dustin and the rest of the group to kind of take over the Hellfire Club in his name, right? But at the same time, his death felt pretty forced to a degree. Or kind of loose connections, because they were trying to make it like, oh, he ran away before, which really wasn't anything bad whenever he ran away. I mean, anybody would have, but he ran away before. He's not going to run away this time, so he runs to lead the bats away. Maybe I just didn't understand the scene. Maybe he did it because he didn't want them to fly up through the hole and get out to the real world, or maybe he did it to buy them some more time in the house, because after they went into the camper and they realized they weren't there, they would have just flown to Vecna's house or whatever. Maybe that, but I just felt like I needed to come across a little bit better, be explained a little better, because at the end of the day, it just felt like, oh, he just wants to be a hero, so he's going to go get himself killed. He's ready to die, So yeah, not going to say it didn't pull out my heartstrings. I did like the character, but again, it was just felt like kind of but why did you do that again? Like, you just suicidal, bro. There was definitely a safer way probably to go about this. But yeah, so, and Dustin was right out there with him with the bats too, so why didn't Dustin get shredded up and Eddie did, So I'm about his death, but alright. And also at the end, whenever Dustin telling the dad about Eddie's death, it kind of makes you think, oh, Dustin, wouldn't this raise an eyebrow to this dude? Because I get you're going for the heart in the dialogue and pulling those heartstrings, but at the same time, you got to pull out the realism, like, okay, he died in an earthquake, the dad's going to be asking how, he saved the town, how exactly, what's going on here, unless the dad knows a lot about the Upside Down, I don't remember from part 1, but yeah, so that was that. Yeah, another Billy type of death too, with a character dying in a redemption type of way. So yeah, Papa died as well, but I don't really care. 11, I guess it kind of will push her character forward. Maybe I wanted her to like forgive him or something. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't really care too much about Papa's death. Anyway, speaking of deaths, a lot of people were thinking Nancy was going to get got at the beginning of this, But Vecna was just using her to send a message, which I thought was kind of strange because everybody was thinking it was going to be Nancy that died because she has guilt for Barb while she was fucking while Barb got killed, right? But no, Nancy doesn't feel guilty for that. Not enough for Vecna, I guess, so it's kind of funny. Nancy doesn't care that Barb died anymore. No, I'm joking. So yeah, overall a nice wrap up to all of these storylines to a degree. They still left a little bit lingering for the next season, of course. I like how everything kind of wraps back into Vecna too. We kind of understand all of that, and it connects all the seasons pretty well. With him being in control of the Demogorgons, I guess, or the Mind Flayer too, because he likes spiders, and yeah, so I like how that was explained. Let's see. The flamethrower was cool too, where they all have a hive mind, so they do the flamethrower and everybody gets hurt. Vecna, the bats, and all of that. So yeah, that's cool, and it explains it better. And at the end, thank God, I thought they were going to save it for like a tease for next season, but no. One big thing I was waiting for was for Hopper to reunite with Eleven, and we got that as well, which was great. Although I want a little bit more from their dialogue. I get in stories you can't always waste time on unnecessary shit, and their dialogue back and forth was pretty wholesome. But I still wanted Eleven to be like, yo, where you been? Like what happened? Not yo, but where you been? Just ask. But I guess she had such faith that he was never dead that she didn't even really have to ask where he had been. She just wasn't surprised that he was alive. Yeah, she kept the door open 3 inches. I like that. And then you get the callback with the bitchin'. Hopefully Hopper will get his date next season. If they'll even be in Hawkins, who knows what's going to happen with all of that, if they can even stay in Hawkins. We got the Elle and Mike love triangle with Will, right? If you could even call it that. Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan love triangle. Again, if you could even call it that, I'm pretty sure Steve and Nancy are going to end up together. Jonathan really doesn't stand a chance. Let's see, I like at the end too, Will gets the bumps on his neck, calling back to the first season, and then the Stranger Things theme starts to play. Absolutely awesome. And then, let's see. Will the Pot Kid return from California? How's he going to fit into it? Maybe they all go to California now, right? The Russian soldier, will he return? Is a question I have. Like I said, will they be in Hawkins? And yeah, what does this upside down fused world look like, where it looks like it's spreading and killing everything like a cancer? I don't think everything went to as big of a degree as it would have to shit, because they did injure Vecna, but they didn't kill him, right? So yeah, keep him around for season 5, which I'm happy about, because he's an awesome villain. And yeah, it'll be probably 2 years till we get the next season, which sucks. But want them to take their time, make it right, just as good as this season, if they even can. I don't even know how they would top this season. It was so great. Maybe little predictions for next season I was going to put at the end here. Maybe go back to the wintertime, right, setting, because I've done summer for like the last two seasons, right, for 3 and 4. And then 1 and 2 had wintertime. So maybe go back to the winter, creepy Halloween type element will help the show some. Help the horror aspect some. I've enjoyed the summer stuff a lot, but go back to its roots. And yeah, California change in setting has been nice too. And yeah, more of the characters all together, like I said. So yeah, I think that was pretty much all of my notes. Anything I forget, I'll put in the comments like usual. Because I usually end up forgetting something. But yeah, just can't praise this season enough. Absolutely awesome conclusion here. Just yeah, it always sucks whenever you watch like really good shows, because then you go to watch other things and it's like, okay, it's good, but it's not good. It's not on that level. So yeah, let me just see. I had a lot of notes here. Just don't want to forget anything, but like I said, it'll be in the comments. So let me know what you thought of the Stranger Things season 4 part 2. I'm sure you loved it, because everybody has. Stranger Things just takes over the world whenever it comes out. So yeah, I guess it'll be taking over the world again in 2020, 24. So yeah, 2024, I guess, hopefully, maybe sooner. But all right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.